However, I would say that there is some sense of approaching leadership in your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
And often we have to take leadership in areas that we feel deeply uncertain around. This is where things can be challenging for us as people. As an example, we were on a Q&A this past weekend, one of our question and answer for one of our high-level programs. It's called Profiler Dynamics. It's one of the advanced classes that after you go through our Profiler Training 101 class and you learn how to do a real profiling session with another person, we have a bunch of advanced classes you can take. Advanced profiling, profiler coaching, and this one's called Profiler Dynamics. It's designed to start laying down the tracks of what we do with our clients in real time, our real world coaching, mentorship groups, all the things that we do with type dynamics and how we coach with them. So we teach other students how to do what we do with clients. And we were just having this call, and one of the students, one of the alumni from Profiler Training who's in this new dynamics class, her name's Jenny, and she's the executive director of a nonprofit. And she has INFP preferences. And we were having a conversation about how she shows up in leadership as the director of this nonprofit. And I reflected to her, we're talking about the inferior or 3-year-old cognitive function in her personality or in personality. And we were talking about it. And it somehow in the conversation came to, I reflected to her, I said, in your leadership role, we're talking about uncertainty. I said, you've had to pull on your 3-year-old or inferior cognitive function of extroverted thinking or effectiveness in a hierarchical structured organization. You're at the top. You have to manage all this resource, all these people, all these projects, all these things have to happen. You've got to show up in leadership there. And I bet that's deeply uncertain for you. She said, yeah, I have to be there so much. She said, but there's an interesting thing. I went to Profiler Training a few months ago and I've been working on myself and really thinking about this. And I always thought that my talent, this is what she reported to us, my talent of introverted feeling or authenticity wasn't very useful in a leadership fashion. I thought I had to go to the structural leadership of effectiveness or extroverted thinking in my inferior 3-year-old. But I was at a meeting with my executives or leadership team the other day, and we were talking about some things, and they were asking me how to do something. And normally in those meetings, Joel and Antonia, I would go to that 3-year-old or inferior function and try to think of all the logistics and the things that have to happen in the outside world. And what I did differently this time is I pulled upon my driver or dominant function of introverted feeling or authenticity as an INFP. And I started to talk about the meaning and the purpose of this nonprofit that we run and what we're trying to accomplish for people and the core values we have as an organization. And she was reporting to us that she could almost feel the energy flowing through her, almost like leadership energy just boiled up out of her. And she said it was really unique and interesting and beautiful and a wonderful experience. Maybe I got those words exactly wrong, but the idea I'm communicating from what she told us anecdotally was she felt alive, she felt attuned, she felt on mission, she felt like she was in her strengths, and she had certainty in how she was communicating. And she said her leadership team lit up around that. Mm-hmm. They were excited about the projects they were working on. She inspired them. We talked about inspirational leadership. She inspired them to what they're doing in this organization. Why are we even doing this? She inspired them. And she said it was an amazing feeling for her and the leadership team. And it's something that she's like, I have access to this. I've been diminishing it. I've been ignoring it. I've been going down to other parts of my personality that I'm more uncertain around to be a leader. And yet I've got this amazing tool. It doesn't look like you're taught in management school or business school or leadership school. It looks different. It's more inspirational. It's more emotionally driven. But yet she's seasoned. She knows how to wield it. It's absolutely the right tool for the job, often in her leadership role. And so that story to me indicates that there's a lot more opportunities for you listening right now, no matter what your personality type is, for anyone that's listening, to do leadership in the way that actually makes sense to you, that you can bring the best gifts of yourself, how you're uniquely wired, to the world. You don't have to do it the way it's structurally set up. You don't have to do it the way your college professor said, or your parents said, or your last boss said, or anybody's told you, or a management book tells you to do it. You can show up in a way that makes sense to you. How do you take leadership, step into that role, and help move people to the next level?
Yeah. And I think we should assume that everybody who's doing that is also a good faith actor. They're doing it for good.
Well, we can assume that. We can't control that. We might have a dictator in the making listening right now, ooh.
We'll give them the schematics of taking over.
But, we actually have a friend who has run the numbers on how, I think, TJ preferences, but runs the numbers on like how much it would take to overthrow a country or like take over a country.
Yeah.
Like,
He was naming countries and like, it would only be $125,000 to hire mercenaries.
Yeah, actual metrics. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's some real like, so I guess if that's you, I mean, we can't really stop you, but hopefully you're using this for good.
Yeah. All right. Do you have more you want to say on? I think I feel pretty good about the topic of leadership.
I'm
if a
excited
person
about it.
is like me, that's not, I mean, I kind of sometimes find myself in that position, but the truth is that I'm not that interested in leading other people in a more extroverted thinking or effectiveness way, which is probably a little bit of how I envision it. But I'm always interested in self-leadership. And there are ways and opportunities for me to put myself in a position of responsibility that can help other people out.
Well, it could also be useful to somebody listening if you have somebody that you are following that's in leadership over you and they're a particular personality type.
Yeah.
Just to know what maybe their insecurities are, what their strengths are, how are they showing up, how to relate to them more.